When a Florida Congresswoman said Donald Trump disrespected the family of a fallen soldier this week, the press was inclined to believe her, even though Trump denied it. Maybe that's because when it comes to benefit of the doubt, history is not on the president's side. First came this stunning and false proclamation from President Trump after he was asked why he had not been in touch with the families of 4 servicemen killed in Niger.
President Obama and other presidents, most of them didn't make calls. A lot of them didn't make calls. I like to call when it's appropriate, when I think I'm able to do it.
Several days later, he called the widow of one of the fallen soldiers, LaDavid Johnson. According to Florida Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, who was in the car, Trump said he knew what he signed up for, but I guess it still hurt.
There's nothing to misinterpret. He said what he said.
And the media ran with it.
Frederica Wilson claims the president said, quote, he knew what he signed up for, but I guess it still hurt.
Trump's chief of staff excoriated Wilson and the press for taking comments out of context.
So he called 4 people the other day and expressed his condolences in the best way that he could.
Okay, but Trump denied even saying those things. And rather than give him the benefit of the doubt, the media lined up against him, citing a litany of falsehoods he's promoted in the past. Everything from numbers of people at his inauguration to an accusation the media covers up terror attacks.
The very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it.
Unfortunately, the chat with the widow of LaDavid Johnson became a political one, but it did not negate the facts.
And she was distraught that he kept saying, my guy, your guy. She said he didn't even know LaDavid's name.
Which is more than likely true. I gotta say, I believe the Congresswoman on this case. And then he actually took it one step further, John. He attacked this Congresswoman, saying that she made up fabricated a story about, she was giving a speech at something where some money was being raised and she was taking credit for the whole thing, which also turned out to be completely false.
He botched it, just like he botches everything else he tries. I mean, look, under the category of giving the benefit of the doubt, I've racked my brains trying to think of a reason why the president would want to be brusque and harsh with this grieving widow, and I can't think of one. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't mean it that way. Yeah. However, first of all, what is this, more broadly speaking, benefit of the doubt business when it comes to powerful politicians? That is not the media's job. The media's job is to ascertain facts and try to figure out the truth. But benefit of the doubt, that's what Sarah Sanders gets paid taxpayer dollars to do, and the other flacks and the whole spin apparatus. Plus, as you note in your piece, the evidence is fairly clear. This particular president has one of the most remote relationships with honesty and the truth I think we've ever seen.
We should note that, we should note that it was John Kelly who came out and said in his speech to the media, or his conversation with the media yesterday, that Frederica Wilson had taken credit for getting the money for this FBI facility in Florida, named for 2 slain FBI agents. And we have since seen video which shows that what John Kelly had to say there was false. I didn't see the same rush to judgment or lack of benefit of the doubt that you did in this particular case. That little bite we heard from Jake Tapper was Congressman Wilson claims that this is what she heard.
But that was after the fact.
And it is also worth pointing out that in John Kelly's appearance yesterday, he confirmed that Congressman Wilson's description was right.
I know, except that Trump had denied that.
Right.
But the mother of the fallen soldier was in the car and confirmed what this Congresswoman said. When the entire argument starts out with a falsehood, I think you've thrown benefit of the doubt right out the window. If it's demonstrably false, if there's plenty of evidence to the contrary, there's no benefit of the doubt doesn't enter into it. You don't keep saying, well, you should trust me on this one, when the whole thing started out with something that wasn't trustworthy.
I just want to clarify one thing. In the beginning, Adam, no one was using those phrases that Jake Tapper used. They weren't saying alleged or anything like that, because originally he didn't respond to it. So everybody was just saying that's what he said.
I have not done a content analysis, but I didn't see any video or hear any audio where someone said something to me that seemed to be a premature rush to judgment.
No, I didn't say premature. They were just quoting it as if it happened. That's all.
I didn't see or hear that either. But.
Well, I agree with John that President Trump probably started out not meaning to be offensive, but he doesn't know how to handle these situations. But what we've seen with him over and over and over is that he could make a mistake and just compounds it, and it gets worse and worse and worse as the day goes on, because he attacks the Congresswoman, even though she apparently got it right, as confirmed by LaDavid Johnson's mother. Then he sends out General Kelly. General Kelly says something that turns out to be not true. And then finally, we have, well, I say finally, I'm sure we'll continue beyond this, but the most recent development is that Trump's press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, came out and said, it's highly inappropriate for reporters to question a four-star general. I guess we live in a military...
I mean, is there a category of people
I guess we live in a military dictatorship
I think when you've run your entire campaign on vote for me, I'll tell it like it is, I say what's right, I say what I mean, you can't go back and say, I didn't mean it. Yeah, it doesn't work.
And yet, it's okay for her boss to challenge the Pope. Interesting set of standards there.
General.
No, you're right. Not a four-star general. Not a military man at all, in fact.